back in June, Jack Dorsey, who is a noted Bitcoin bull, runs both Twitter and Square, had a whole tweet storm. And this specific tweet, he said, if Matt can pull it up so that I can read it, he said that Square was considering making a hardware wallet for Bitcoin. If they do it, they'd build it entirely in the open, from software to hardware design, and in collaboration with the community. And they want to kick off this thinking the right way by sharing some of their guiding principles. And he went on this whole tweet thread and he explained it. This is June 4th. Well, we just got an update last week, and Jack came out with another kind of tweet storm, and he said the following, which was, Square's creating a new business, so kind of a subsidiary at Square, and it is going to, I believe, be not combined with, but be another subsidiary. So Square Seller, Square's Cash App, Tidal, those are all subsidiaries underneath Square. I believe this new business is just alongside them. It's going to be focused on building an open developer platform with the sole goal of making it easy to create non-custodial, permissionless, and decentralized financial services. Primary focus is on Bitcoin, and the name was TBD. Now, for those keeping track at home, TBD is not the name. That stands for to be determined, not yet determined. And so this is fascinating to me because when you look at what he's talking about here, there's a couple of things. One is he's specifically saying that they're going to build an open developer platform. So the idea here is not for Square to build a centralized service and then to say, hey, we Square know the answers and we're going to then force you, the user, to use our product and we own centralized control and therefore you're giving up on the ethos of Bitcoin. Instead, what they said is we're going to build a platform that provides these developer tools to individual developers that allows them to more easily create non-custodial, permissionless, and decentralized financial services. So the whole idea is taking DeFi, decentralized finance, and bringing it to Bitcoin, and Square saying, you know what? We sit in a very unique position where we have great technical talent, we have access to capital, and we've got the ear of the community. We're going to build a bunch of developer tools. We're going to hand those to developers, and we hope that by giving them basically the picks and shovels, they're then going to leverage those to go build amazing things that focus on non-custodial, permissionless, and decentralized financial services. To me, this might be one of the most exciting things I've seen in Bitcoin in a long time, right?
Yeah, this is great.
Why?
One, Jack is a beast of his own, and the companies he's built and continues to build, like he's obviously very stretched in the time and the limits he has.
Is he the GOAT right now that Bezos got so rich that he retired?
We're talking active now?
Yeah, active.
Yeah, active
like
GOAT.
if this was sports and we stack ranked him, is Jack Dorsey the GOAT at the moment?
He's future Hall of Famer for sure.
Tom Brady.
Jack Dorsey is definitely a future Hall of Famer, but is he the greatest of all time right now?
Sure.
Yeah. Who else? Musk, I guess, goes up there.
Yeah, Musk is up there. And we're not counting Bezos because he retired.
Yeah, he retired. He got so rich. Jerome Powell made him so rich that they forced him into retirement. Inflategate. I'm just saying, look, Inflategate. That's why Bezos retired. He got so rich that he had to retire.
We'll have to do a segment once where we do the Mount Rushmore.
Should we do Mount Rushmore? Or maybe we should create a Hall of Fame and just literally put up the pictures of all of the Hall of Fame
greatest entrepreneurs.
Yeah, but determined by us and the Best Business Show research team. That's what we're going to do. All right, so keep going, John. You said that he's a beast of his own.
Yeah, he's a beast of his own. He's clearly creating a lot of different companies. He's very into Bitcoin, which is great. But it's nice to see what markets he is in and how he's thinking about decentralized finance and how he wants Square to get involved in that.
Well, he's going to make Bitcoin custody more mainstream, right? And that's what it comes down to, is they're instantly going to be the biggest player in that space from just their market and name recognition outside of what they've done in crypto and other categories. He's already made pretty big avenues in Cash App and some of the other kind of financial applications he's built. But when it comes to Square, they'll instantly be the biggest player, and it's really all about just making it mainstream, which will help a lot with adoption in my opinion.
Cash App, essentially, all of the profit from the last quarter's numbers that I remember, I think it was last quarter, came from Bitcoin. Like the buying and selling of Bitcoin on Cash App was almost exclusively from Bitcoin, or the revenue was from Bitcoin or profit. And so when you start to think about how instrumental Bitcoin has been to Square as a business already, it makes sense that he realizes over the next 20 years, if you're a long-term thinker, Bitcoin is going to become a bigger and bigger portion of the financial system. And if you can be a core piece of infrastructure in that system, then you will likely reap the financial benefits and your business will continue to grow for, years to come. And so I think that's part of what's so fascinating about what Jack understands here is that he is frankly just ahead of the curve. He's recognizing a kind of a market trend and he's figuring out ways to marry what most people would think is pretty difficult. The expectations of Wall Street and kind of the pressures of building a large financial institution in a regulated public market with the ethos of Bitcoin and being able to speak to both groups at the same time, use technology and not piss off the Bitcoin community and do things that they would seem as kind of violating their view of the world, but at the same time, appeasing to some degree the corporate investor, kind of corporate world or the Wall Street investor. And that to me is like the tightrope act that he's walking and why you have to take a guy like that and put him at or near the top of the kind of best operating entrepreneurs right now is because that is very, very, very difficult to do. And that's all the work you have to do before you even start building the products. Then you got to execute, you got to market, you got to acquire users, you got to do all the things that are necessary just to build a great business. He's actually doing a ton of work up front because of the complexity and the nuance here between the Bitcoin community and the corporate world, who frankly hate each other, don't like each other. They yell and scream at each other all day long, and they couldn't have different ideals, kind of ethos and views of where the world's going. Right?
Well, so I got the numbers.
Which numbers?
On Cash App and Bitcoin.
Right.
So
are you, wait, hold on. Are you head of the Best Business Show research team now?
Today I am. Yeah.
Today? All right.
I'll take that
John
title.
usually is quick with the keyboard.
John's usually the head of the Best Business Show.
All right, co-heads.
Hey,
These are the co-heads of the Best Business Show
today.
research team. Perfect. The co-heads.
Okay, so Square, these numbers are from February, so it was the earnings report before the last. But essentially, it says that they made $4.57 billion in Bitcoin revenue last year. So that was $97 million of gross profit, and that was up almost 800% year over year. And then out of that, they said that represented almost 48% of their total revenue last year. So Bitcoin transactions, the money they made off of selling Bitcoin on Cash App made up 50% of their revenue and 85% of revenue gains last year. So it was their biggest revenue driver by far over the last year.
I mean, those are some crazy numbers.
Yeah.
Right. The thing that also I think is very telling. So this is a guy who, if we just do like a Jack check real quick, he's built two multi-billion-dollar businesses. I don't know what Square's market cap is right now, but I think it's 2025. Or I'm sorry, Twitter's market cap is like 20-25 billion. Square was 100 billion, probably more than that. And so if you look at that, he's created like, let's call it somewhere over $100 billion of total market cap value across two companies. He runs both of them. He's done, by all intents and measurements, a pretty good job. There's plenty of people who've got complaints, specifically around censorship on a platform, which he openly says he doesn't want to have that responsibility. They kind of got thrust into the light. There's plenty of people who think Twitter should be making more money, all kinds of complaints. But for the role that he sits in, he has done, from my view, a very good job and built a lot of shareholder value. And now he's basically saying, I see an opportunity for permissionless, decentralized financial services that is built around Bitcoin, which, if you know me, if you've been listening to the podcast, if you've been paying attention to what I tweet, I've said over and over and over again, the most mispriced opportunity in the market, in my opinion, is decentralized financial services built on top of Bitcoin. It looks like Jack agrees, and they're going to go full-fledged into this. And if he's successful here, and he's able to build a platform that hands these tools to developers, the amount of economic kind of value creation that occurs is going to be absolutely off the charts. And the beauty of it is some of that will flow to Square and kind of their financial balance sheet, but some of it won't. Some of it will just empower other people to be successful. And I think that that's what some of the fun here is. He's empowering other people to be successful as well.